Good morning, Stampers. It's Debbie with Stamp It with Debbie, and I'm here live today to show you 3 masculine cards. We all need more masculine cards. It seems like I'm always running out, and today I'm going to show you how to create these 3 cards that we can use for lots of different occasions. Bear with me while I get set up over on my iPad just to make sure that I'm really live for you. If you're here, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know that you're watching today. I hope that you're having a fabulous day. And again, I'm just getting set up. If you'll bear with me so that I can see that we're all here together and going live today. Sometimes it doesn't always go so smooth trying to see where everyone is. I'm not sure why it's not letting me see you all. So I'm just going to assume that we're all here because I'm having a hard time getting logged on. So again, if you're here, just go ahead and leave me a comment. I can't really see the comments, but I'm going to assume you're here and we'll get going. All right. I am just not sure why my Facebook is not pulling up on my feed. There we go. Oh my goodness. Finally. Okay, I think I got it. Thanks for your patience. All right, again, we're going to be using Mountain Air today to create some masculine cards. And again, we all need some masculine cards for different things. And actually, this one is not masculine. This is an encouragement card. So that's what we're going to be working on today, are these 3 cards. But before I get started with that, let me just show you the stamp set we're going to be using. We're actually using a couple. So I'm going to set these aside over here. We're going to be using Mountain Air. And we're also going to be using because none of this stamp set doesn't have any greetings with it. This is the framelit that I am going to be using for one of the cards. We had to have a stamp set with a greeting, so I'm using Ridiculously Awesome and Peaceful Moments. These are both 2 of my favorites. I really like the font on this one. And it's called Peaceful Moments again, and it covers almost everything. Happy birthday, sympathy, thank you, congratulations. So we're going to be using that along with Mountain Air. All right, let me put these aside. And before we get started, and while I just let everyone log on here, I just want to remind you that today is the final day to sign up for my Nothing's Better Than or the chocolate card class. And I just wanted to go over the projects real quickly and show you. These are all of the projects that you're going to get the pieces for and a PDF tutorial. And then 2 3D projects. This one here holds a package of cookies, but you could really put anything in it. And this one holds a box of or a little package of chocolates. So you're going to get everything you need, and there are 3 options. I'll leave a link in the comments below so that you can decide if this is a class that you want to take. There are 3 options again. One option's for I want it all. One option is you already have the stamp set and you just want the PDF instructions and the cardstock, and another one is just for the tutorial if you already have all the items and you just want the tutorial. So again, today is the final day for sign up for that. So let me know if you are interested. You can leave a comment below here or message me directly at stampitwithdebbie@gmail.com. Okay, so let's get started. This is going to be the first card that we're creating. Now, I tried to keep the cards one layer, and this is semi one layer. Let me tell you what we're using for this one. We have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to go ahead and just fold it right in half. Grab my bone folder. And then I took a piece of Whisper White cardstock and I cut it to 4 by 5.25, and then I used my layering squares and cut a square right out of the center. We are going to put this on here, but not quite yet. What we need to do is put this piece on here. Go ahead and cut your square out of the piece of Whisper White, and then you want to make just little hashtags so you know the boundaries of this. And then we're going to remove it. We do have a little bit of stamping to do. So I'm going to grab my Ridiculously Awesome and the Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear. I cut this piece out of the Stitched Shapes framelits. And I'm just going to put that right on there. I am going to clean this off real fast. I always like to clean as I go. Do you clean as you go, or do you just dirty everything up and pick it up afterwards? Some people clean as they go, and some people stamp and put things away as they go. All right, I'm going to be using Old Olive and Mossy Meadow ink. I'm going to start with the Old Olive. I'm going to set that aside. Because I've made my boundaries here, I know exactly where I need to be. And I'm going to grab my 2 tree images from the set. Now remember, this is the boundary of the square that we cut, so we can go a little bit outside of that. And remember, you want to have some lighter trees and some darker trees, some taller trees, some shorter trees. So I'm going to make some a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to use, actually I realized I didn't use Old Olive. Sorry about that, just used the, I'm going to stamp this one off. I just used Mossy Meadow and stamped that off. Now I'm going to put my card over here and see what I think about that. I don't like this white space here, so I think that I'm going to stamp another little tree down there, and it really doesn't matter what I stamp or how I stamp. It's just going to cover that little space up, and it's going to be covered underneath this piece here, but I like that a lot better. And I think I'm going to do one more small dark tree right here. Okay, now I'm happy with that. I'm going to clean off my stamps again. If you're, while I'm cleaning up here, if you're following me today and you've never watched before, I'd like to welcome you. And if you watched me before, I'd like to say welcome back and thanks so much for joining me again today. I hope you're having a really great day. It's a sunshiny day here in Michigan again. All right, I'm just erasing all of my little hash marks that I made. Let me get rid of some of my mess. Now I'm going to take this piece and put it directly onto the front of my card. You can do that with any adhesive that you choose. A little bit more eraser mark there. All right, again, I'm just going to line this right up over my trees. And then the next thing I want to put on is this piece here, because my trees are layering over it just a little bit. So I'm going to bring that right almost to the edge. This right edge is going to go up over my trees just a little bit. And then you can see I wanted the smaller tree to tuck behind the bigger ones. So I'm going to just put a little adhesive on that and position it on my greeting here so I can still see it. Now I'm going to grab a couple dimensionals because I decided I want to pop the tree up. And I do need a little piece from the side because this won't take a full dimensional. So I'm going to just cut a little piece there so that it doesn't show. Set that aside, and now I'll just position this however I see fit here. And then the last thing that I want to do is add a couple rhinestones. Let me bring the cards back over right here. So I'm just going to grab those and put them right here. Now if you wanted them to match a little bit better, I'm always saying you can use your Stampin' Blends markers to put a little bit of color on there with Old Olive or another color. So how's that for a kind of a simple card, not too difficult, and a little bit of layering. It's not, as I said, exactly one layer, but close. It's close. So what do you think? Leave me a thumbs up if you like it, a smiley face, a heart, something. Let me know if you like that one. All right, this is the next one. And I kind of created this one in mind. I have a masculine graduate for a boy, a graduation card. And I don't really have any stamp sets that have graduation or class of 2020 or any of that. And so I thought this would be a really great card for a graduation card because it says congratulations, but it really could be used for anything. That's what I'm going to use it for. So I've cut a piece of Misty Moonlight, 4 1/4 by 11. I have another piece of Misty Moonlight, 4 by 5 1/4. And I wanted to show you in the catalog, this Tasteful Textile doesn't really do this. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, and I'll try to put it just right, but the picture in the catalog doesn't do it justice. So it's a really nice texture, some just little bumps, but it adds just a little bit to the card so that you don't have to think about what else to put in the back. Now this is the nested stitched labels. I believe that's what it's called. This is the I believe it's the largest one. And then I just have a piece of 1/2 inch paper, and I'm just going to make it long enough for my greeting. So I'm going to go ahead, let me grab that ink. And for this one, I'm using just one color. I'm using Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to stamp my greeting, and I need to pull this off camera or I'm going to end up with it all kinds of wonky. I might even end up with it all kinds of wonky anyways. Yep. All right, I'm going to turn it over and try it again. Okay, there we go. Let me just wipe that stamp off real quick. And I'm going to get my scissors. And I just like to kind of cut along the edge. Just gives it kind of a nice little look. A clean look. All right, so I'm going to set this aside and I'll use it again in a minute. I need to do some stamping first. So I'm not going to adhere any of my pieces yet because I'm going to tie some ribbon around it. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab my, this is the mountain, and there are two sides that you can stamp with. One side is really smooth and one side is the regular stamp. So I'm going to start with the regular stamp on this card, and I decided that I would bring my ink to my block because it's a really big block. And my darkest part is right about here. All right, now I'm going to offset this and just stamp again. And then I'm going to offset and stamp one more time. Now, I wanted to keep stamping down just a little bit, like maybe once more. So of course I don't want it to be super dark. I'm going to come over here on the side so it doesn't clutter us up here. And I'm going to stamp once more. Now the reason that I don't want it super dark is because right here where the trees are, it's going to get real muddy with all that dark color ink. So I wanted it to be a little lighter at the bottom. Let me just clean this stamp off real quick. And then I'm going to grab my tree. And I'm just going to put that right in the Misty Moonlight as well. And I'm just going to stamp a couple trees off to the side here. This one's going to be down just a little bit. And then one more over here. So it kind of looks like you're looking through the trees into the mountains. And that's all the stamping that we need to do. Now, if you'd like, you can stamp it up a little bit further. I kind of liked a little bit of white space on the back of mine. So that's what I went with. Now, we need to get to these pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my card in half. And then I need to put a little piece of this twine, and I can't remember the name. It comes in a 3-pack, and I'll leave a link in the comments below. I'm just going to go around twice. This is Misty Moonlight, and then there's a little bit of silver in there in case you can't see, and then white. So I'm just going to tie a little bow over here on the side. All right, while I'm doing this and adhering this to the panel, I just would like to ask you, if you are following me on YouTube right now, if you would click the subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. It helps YouTube know that people are watching my videos, and it will keep showing my videos. Same thing in Facebook. If you're watching me on Facebook, don't forget to like or leave a comment, a thumbs up, something so that Facebook knows you're watching, and it'll keep showing it to show my videos to you. But also, if you hit the subscribe or the follow button, it will let you know when I go live and other notifications. So go ahead and click that follow button. Now I just put a little bit of adhesive on the back here, and I'm centering that up. Now I want to make sure, the reason that I used liquid adhesive, I like to use liquid when I have a lot of texture in an embossing folder because there's so many voids on the back. So that's why I use liquid adhesive. Now I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of this part. And adhere that right to the front of the card. And I did center it up best I could. And then I don't need dimensionals for this piece. I just need some adhesive. And I'm going to put that right in the center. Now this congratulations got a little bit shorter, but that's okay. I kind of like the look of this one being a little bit longer. What do you think? You like it to go over the edge, or you like it right straight on? I might replace that one because I think I want it to be just a little bit bigger, but I like the look of the card definitely, and I think it would be great. You could even put a happy birthday greeting on there if you would prefer. Again, the congratulations could be for a lot of things, not just a graduation, but that's what I'm going to use this one for, as a graduation card. All right, I have one more. Now, today I did tell you that the stamp set had some dies that go with it. And I decided not to use the dies because sometimes it complicates the simplicity of just using the stamp set. Now, I do have the dies, and I used it in the first card, and that's fine. but for this one, it's all stamping. Now, it could get a little messy because we're using several different inks. The other cards I've just used one color. This is a piece of Mossy Meadow, 8.5 by 5.5. I'm going to start just by folding that in half, and I'm going to set it aside. I'm actually going to set this one over. Hopefully you can still see that, but I need to keep that out of the way best I can so that we don't get ink on it. Again, there's going to be a lot of ink and a lot of stamping, and I just don't want to ink up my project here. All right, I'm using Happy Birthday from the Peaceful Moments. Again, I really like the font of this stamp set a lot. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the actual stamp set, and I'm going to use Smoky Slate. Let me know if you have this stamp set, if you've used it already, or if you haven't really known what to make yet, and so you haven't made anything. So I'm just going, I didn't stamp off, full force, Smoky Slate right in the middle of my card. Now, I will tell you, you can leave it very simple. You don't have to do all these mountains. This stamp set has so much dimension that whatever you do with it, it's going to be beautiful. So don't worry that you don't know how to do some of these things or it's intimidating to you. Do as little or as much as you choose. So now I'm going to take this stamp set and I'm going to flip it over. When you feel the back, it's really smooth. I'm going to go ahead and stick it right on the front of the card. I'm now using Seaside Spray, and I'm going to ink that up. Now, my Seaside Spray is really dark, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to tap it off just a little, and now I'm going to go behind those mountains here, and I'm going to offset, and I'm going to stamp again. All right, so now I need to wipe it off because I'm going to use one more color. And I would really recommend when you're using a lot of colors, at least for me, I like to have a baby wipe handy, or sometimes I even use hand sanitizer. I know it's in short quantities right now, but that really takes the ink off your hands because you don't want to get your project all done and then find a smudge on it. So that's what I'm doing right now, just so that I don't mess up my project. Okay, I cleaned off my stamp. I'm now grabbing Gray Granite. And again, Gray Granite is pretty dark, so I'm just going to stamp off once here on the side, and then I'm going to come in and again offset. And so now you just have a little bit of shadow from the mountains on the top and on the bottom. Now I'm going to pick up this other piece here, and this is it could be a little bit of water here, so you could do that in like a blue. I'm gonna do it in Mossy Meadow because it looks kind of like shadow and brush on the grass to me, so I'm gonna use Mossy Meadow, and I'm gonna ink that up. I'm not going to stamp that off because I want the darkness of it. So I'm going to come right down here at the edge of that Gray Granite piece that I did. And I'm going to stamp down there. So you can see, let me bring it up. Isn't that so pretty? So now I just wanted to cover this edge here because I didn't like the white of it. First, it's probably very hard for you to see. These are some little birds in the background, so I thought that I would just make a couple birds flying around the mountain there. And then I'm going to grab my tree again, both trees, And I want to make some of the mountain or some of the trees kind of high. And then I want to make some low. And it's okay if they overlap. And again, some are going to be really high and some will be lower. And it's just all, you're just going to eyeball it to see what you like. Now this one I actually did use some old olive just to give it a different look. And I'm going to take my smaller tree and stamp a couple old olive trees in here. And so the look I was going for again is like you're kind of looking through the trees to see the mountains. And so you're gonna definitely want some trees that are much more out there and some that are kind of hidden. So I think I'm good with that. All right, I'm going to set these stamps aside so that I don't get any ink on anything. Whoop, I do need them for I decided to put a couple trees on here. And so what I'm going to do is cut a little banner here at the end first so that I can see where I'm stamping. And then I'm going to take my smaller tree and the old olive, and I'm just going to stamp a couple trees. And so that just gives our greeting a little more texture, I think. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put the ink away and put my stamps away. And I think what I'm going to do, just so it looks a little prettier, I'm going to flip this over. Okay. So now that's the one we're working on right here. And look at you guys, I got a smudge on mine anyways. So probably what I'm going to do for that, since I got a smudge, is I'll just show you real quickly so that if you get a smudge, you know how to take care of it too. So I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight ink, and I have a blender brush, but you can also use a sponge. I'm just going to sponge a little bit of yellow in the background. This is Daffodil Delight, and I could go on and do a little bit more like orange or some other color, but this is good. I like this. And so the smudge doesn't show quite so bad. I'm going to attach that right to the back of my card. And then, well, I had a piece of ribbon and I have lost it. So let me grab, oh, here it is. This is a piece of the burlap, and I'm just going to cut a little angle on the end to make it a little more interesting. This is maybe about 3 inches long. So I just put adhesive directly on the back of that. And then my little greeting, you could pop that up with dimensionals if you want to. I'm just going to put adhesive and kind of offset it just a little bit from the right edge of the ribbon. And there we go. There is card number 3. Let me go ahead and pull all the projects from today back in so that you can see them. Let me know which is your favorite. And if you have this stamp set, leave a picture in the comments below so I can see what you're creating. Again, this is the Mountain Air stamp set. And if you need supplies for this or any other project, I would love to be your demonstrator. Come on over and support me at my online store so I can keep bringing you these free videos to learn how to create fun cards. I'll leave a link in the comments below, and you can click on it and go right over to my store. Thank you so much for watching me today for Facebook Live. And I am here on Facebook every Thursday at 10:30 with a video for you to show you how to do some projects with maybe a stamp set that you haven't used or haven't thought about before. So come on over and join us, and I hope I'll see you again in class real soon. Have a wonderful day, everyone.